This is an airflow meter. These holes are how we let air into the system. So each one of these holes is 10, and the top holes are 2. And there's a little line here so you can turn this to get the right CFMs in there. And that is how we measure how much air we're letting in the system. So when you check the vacuum pump, there's 2 ways to do it. On the system, you can put a gate valve in, shut that, put a test port in, hook your vacuum gauge to that, and then let your air into a T-piece. And I like to plumb all my vacuum pumps like this because it makes it very easy to check it. The other thing, if you don't have a gate valve, is that you can disconnect the pump from here. So just unscrew these clamps and pull this away, and then you can take this thing and put on here, and I got a port in here, and then you would check it like this. So those are the 2 ways to check the pump. All right, cut it. And then we're going to close holes until this is 15. So it's 11.4. And then we count the number of holes, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 8 CFM. So this pump has 7 to 8 CFM of capacity. You always close the holes, start with open holes, and then close the holes, making sure you're not on a half hole. Close the holes until your vacuum gauge reaches 15 inches. And then you want to make sure you open your gate valve so you don't ruin anything. Okay.
Good.
Okay, so now we're going to measure effective reserve. So I measure the pump first sometimes, then I do this. It doesn't matter the steps you do. So effective reserve, this is a regulator. This is how these blue Sentinel Mark II regulators have to be plumbed on a 6-inch elbow, 2-inch pipe. This is the receiver jar. So I pulled the top off the receiver jar and put this cap on here. And then I can, these have various adapters. You can pull these off and put on various adapters on this. And then push this on like that. And then I can hook up. If you have a glass receiver jar, sometimes you just have to pull the plug out and poke this right in. And then put a test port, drill a test port into the pipe. Just drill that into the pipe, and then you can check. So you just have to kind of figure out how you're going to measure it. You need a place to measure the vacuum, and you need a place to let air in. So can you turn this pump on, please? So we let it come to system vacuum, 12.1. Drop it 6/10 of an inch. Open hole. count the holes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 4. So that's 114 CFM. And you're going to ask yourself, how can I only have 80 here and I got 100 here? That's because here we're measuring a system vacuum. So what you do again is you keep the regulator on, find a place to measure vacuum, a place to let air in. You're going to close all the holes, turn on the pump, and then you start opening holes until you drop the vacuum 6/10 of an inch. So if you start at 12.1, you keep opening holes until you drop it down to 11.5. So the next thing we're going to measure is manual reserve. And what manual reserve is the amount of air you have with the regulator disabled. So if you have one of these regulators, I just unscrew it. And we place a cap. If that would come off, then you could screw a cap in. You can place a cap over that, like that. If you have a remote sensing regulator, you would just pull the tube out and plug everything up so it can't suck air. When you do manual reserve, it's very important that you open up the holes all the way and then close them. So when you're checking the pump and you're doing manual reserve, you open the holes and close them. When you're doing effective reserve, you start with all the holes closed and then start to open them. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to open up all the holes in the middle. We're going to place this on there, on top of the receiver jar. We're going to turn on our Digimet to vacuum. So this has various menus. You turn it on, and then the first menu is vacuum. You can do pulsators, milk respirators, so we do vacuum, and then hit enter. And now when we turn the pump on, we can check. So I'm going to run through here and turn the pump on. So when we do manual reserve, you open the holes until it falls 6/10 below system vacuum. So we started at 12.1, and then we want to go to 11.5 with effective reserve. When you do manual reserve, you open the holes and then you close them until you're at 11.5, not 12.1. Most important thing is, before you do anything else, is enable your regulator again. Pull that cap off of there. Count your holes. 1, 2, 3. So this one is 11, so that's 110 plus 4 is 114. So he has 114 with the regulator and 114 without. So you divide them, 114 divided by 114. The regulator is 100% effective. And this is a brand new dairy, brand new regulator. This is what they sometimes look like. So we know that his manual and effective reserve is normal. This dairy has 12 units. So he needs 35 CFM plus 2 per unit. He needs 24 plus 35 is 59 CFM. He has 114. So he has plenty. This is the other thing that I emailed you about, is a guard. This is what you have to be careful of. These belts. You do not want to get caught in that and run your finger right off. Sometimes if the pump is close to capacity, if you have a 5-horse pump, it should put out 50. If it's very close to capacity, let's say it's 40, 45, sometimes it just means you need to put a new belt on there, tighten these pulleys, put belt dressing on there, and you can usually get 5 to 10% better.